Growing up gay and disabled, I mean, spoiler alert, I didn't love it. I didn't see any version of it getting better, like for a long time. I'm Ryan O'Connell. I'm a writer, like a real one, sometimes. Oh, and I'm disabled too. Well, coming out as gay, I came out when I was 17. None of my friends or family cared, which was great. And then I think being disabled was much harder, much harder. I mean, it took 28 years for me to really admit to myself that I was disabled, which was really crazy because I walk with a limp. When I was 20, I was hit by a car and I moved to New York and everyone thought I got hit by a car, so I kind of threw cerebral palsy into a dumpster and never talked to it ever again. You know, to me, it was like a life hack. I was like beginning to live the life that I always wanted and always felt like I kind of deserved because I never identified with being disabled, but really I was selling myself short, and there was just a lot of self-loathing because, you know, again, like being in the closet with your sexuality, you're denying a part of who you are, and whenever you're doing that, it ain't gonna be fun. There's a part of you that wants to be happy and wants to be truthful and wants to be honest, and like for that moment when I got the book deal, I kind of knew, even at 25 and in the thick of hating myself, this was the time to come out and be honest about my disability. Like there was no way I could write a book about my life and not include this very formative detail. So when I wrote the book and when I had to promote it, I wrote a post on Thought Catalog about being disabled, and it was just sort of like, I mean, it really was like night and day. Like I wrote that post and I woke up just feeling 1,000,000 pounds lighter.
I think Ryan is really daring and he's never really afraid to go to places a lot of people would be too afraid to go. This was a character unlike anybody we'd ever seen before. He had such a distinct voice and yet somehow was so relatable in the way that he talked about his life experiences. We thought there was something very special in that, something so specific and then also so universal.
So we went out, we pitched it, we had like a gay mafia. We gave them a fucking hilarious, insane pitch. Everyone in the room died. We basically felt like we had sold it every time we went in there.
I think there were a couple challenges along the way. I think one of them, Ryan was not going to play Ryan when we were initially pitching the show.
People were basically like, we want to buy this, and then they were like, just kidding, we don't want to buy it. It was like, it was rough, you know?
I think a question a lot of executives had was, who is going to play this very singular, specific gay man with cerebral palsy who happens to be very funny and lively. And I think there's a certain responsibility when you're taking on, you know, representing a character like this, and that made a lot of people nervous.
I fucking hope we don't end up like premiering at a Cinnabon in Tahunga. Like I really want this to be on a mainstream platform so everyone can see it. I'm making something that to me I think is aggressively relatable and mainstream, and it deserves to have a mainstream platform. And it was like very anticlimactic. It was like 4 years of like, no, 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 and then just like, oh sure. Like I found out when I was on the treadmill. Like it was just truly like, what?
When we got the green light from Netflix, it was incredibly exciting, obviously after 3 years of pushing and pushing and pushing. I think we all did a happy dance, and that's wonderful.
I remember the first time I saw myself on television, and I consider that a huge moment in my self-realization and self-development process. And I think anyone from any kind of stigmatized identity or community has a duty to help support their own, but also help bring more kinds of voices into the world so that we can eventually normalize difference.
It was like all those people kind of coming together, understanding that this story was important and needed to be told, and not giving up. Okay, let's talk about me and Cole. Okay, the Ballad of Ryan and Eric. It's been a long one. Okay, let's talk about the sex scene.